यस्यान्तर्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नाम गोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णं न भवति पुरुषो नो नपुंसं न च स्त्री
स्वामिन्नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धौ मामुद्धरात्मीयकटाक्षदृष्ट्या ऋज्व्यातिकारुण्य सुधाभिवृष्ट्या स्वामिन्नमस्ते 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 स्वामिन्नमस्ते.
So, yesterday we reached that stage where the Guru says that, you listen to me carefully, my son. What I am going to tell you in reply to your very excellent question will be beneficial for everybody. And listen to me so that by doing Sravana, Manana and Nididhyasana, you are able to realize your self within you. And he said that if you do Manana and Nididhyasana after listening to me, you will be getting Nirvana Sukham. Tato vikalpam parametya vidvan ihaiva Nirvana Sukham samrichhati. In this life itself, you will realize yourself and you will experience Nirvana Sukham. What is that Nirvana Sukham? By having experienced the self or Brahman. You know, in some later shloka, he tells his Shishya that not only Sravana, you may listen. It will not be of any benefit unless you do Manana. And after that you must do Nididhyasana. So he is saying, Shrutehe shatagunam vidyat mananam mananadapi Nididhyasam lakshagunam anantam nirvikalpatam. So reflection should be considered 100 times superior to hearing. Do you understand? So we are listening. You have to assess yourself. Are we giving so much time to manana, reflection or manana or rumination? It has to be done 100 times. It is 100 times superior to hearing. And meditation 100,000 times superior even to reflection. So, trying to meditate after whatever you have heard, meditating on the knowledge is 100,000 times superior. And Nirvikalpa Samadhi, after trying meditation, if you are able to attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi, then it is infinite in its results. So, after this shloka, after the 70th shloka, it's all the Guru's instruction. What does he tell the Shishya? Every Guru will tell the same thing, that, my dear child, know that you are not the body, mind, intelligence, ego. You are the soul. You are not body, mind, intelligence, etc., which is changeless, which is perishable. You are the soul which is imperishable, eternal, changeless. So, you have come to me saying that you are always afflicted by tension, fear, and so many traits of the mind by which you feel disturbed, afflicted. You feel sorrowful. So much misery you suffer. And you have come to me with this question that how can I go beyond this suffering, knowing what binds me, what is this bondage? My dear child, know this. Only by knowing the soul, you will be able to go across all your sufferings. You will be able to attain that spontaneous joy in life, which is everlasting. It is not like the sukha or joy which you experience by interacting with objects. It is not like that. And ultimately, he says, Akashavallapa viduragoham adityavad bhasya vilakshanoham aharyavan nitya vinishchanoham ambodhivat paravivarjitoham akashavallapa viduragoham. He says, you are changeless. You have no movement. You are imperishable. You are taintless. You are like the sky where we cannot make any mark. Suppose I draw a line on the sky. Is there any mark anywhere? No. So the sky is taintless. Akashavat lepa viduragoham. O my son, you are like that sky which has no taint. So why do you get tainted by sukha or dukkha? Adityavad bhasya vilakshanoham. You are like the Surya, the sun, who is ever bright and which is illumining everything. Your soul is of that nature. If you are the one who is illumining everything, how is it that at times you feel the mind is dark? You cannot feel like that. Aharyavan nitya vinishchaloham. And you are like that mountain which always remains firm. Nobody can push it and move it. So when something happens, some adversity comes or waves of suffering comes and you have to face it, why do you think that you have been blown away or you have been drowned? Because you are like that mountain. You, the I, the soul, has all these characteristics. Never think like that. Aharyavat nitya vinishchaloham. Aham means I. Ambodhivat para vivarjitoham. And you are like that ocean which is vast and which is infinite, which is limitless. Your mind is like that. You being so, how can you think that you are constricted and limited by your body, mind and intelligence? In all that he says to the Shishya, he says this only. Sarvadharam sarvavastu prakasham sarvakaram sarvagam sarvashunyam nityam shuddham nishchalam nirvikalpam brahmadvaitam yat tadevahamasmi. The real identity of anybody, and you also, my dear child, it is like this. You are sarvadharam. You are the support of all. Sarvavastu prakasham. You are illumining everything. You are sarvakaram. You are in everything. Sarvagam. You are everywhere, pervading. Nityam, Shuddham, Nischalam, Nirvikalpam. You are eternal. You are ever pure. Any movement is not there in you. You are Nischalam, no movement at all. Brahmadvaitam, Yat Tadevahamasmi. You should feel that you are that Advaita Brahma, one without a second, and that is you. Like this, he gives him knowledge. And he says that it is only because you mistakenly identify with the body or the mind or the intelligence or the ego that you undergo sukha and dukkha. When one identifies with the body, one will feel that I am strong, I am weak, I have a disease, I am very healthy, all these things. When it identifies with the mind, it is with the sukha and dukkha. I am very unhappy or I am very happy. I am very depressed or I am elated. The intelligence, when it gets identified with the intelligence, I am very intelligent or I am very fool. I am a fool. And ego makes one feel I am this. I am having everything. I am a doer. I am doing all things. I am this, my body, mind and intelligence. With this limited I is the one, my identity, and everything related to me, everything I possess, it's mine. And whenever we have this I-ness and mine-ness, what happens? Lot of attachment comes, possessiveness comes, and that gives lot of dukkha. Because of this attachment and possessiveness, what happens? Raga dvesha comes, likes and dislikes, our clinging to the likes and dislikes. I do not like certain things, and whatever I like, I want to have. Whatever I do not like, I do not want to have. I become fearful that suppose what I don't like, I have to face it. So naturally, anxiety, tension, and fear develops. So because of this mistaken identity, all the suffering that you have, and you have come to me asking and praying that please lift me up, please save me, tell me what I should do so that I get liberated from the shackles of the mind, so that I get liberated from whatever is troubling me, giving me disturbance, and not making me be peaceful. The Guru tells him about that state, reaching where he feels like this. You know, Guru, in many slokas, I wish I could have taken all those slokas, but time is not there. I hope at least those slokas at the end, you will read yourself with a meaning. In the book, meanings are there, which talks about that state which any seeker can reach, anybody can reach, if only he wishes to, if only he has an yearning to reach that, if only he understands that this world is not going to give me any happiness at all. Only if he understands that the happiness that I want, I'm always thinking that I'll get happiness from outer objects, enjoying this or enjoying that. But I'm not remembering that all these objects are perishable, changeful. They will not remain. So those changeful and perishable objects cannot give me imperishable happiness. Where is that imperishable happiness? It is within us, our own self. This happiness is its natural characteristics. It is of the form of ananda, and from there, Like a fountain, spontaneously, Ananda is welling forth. But fools as we are, unfortunate as we are, we never look at that. We never look within. Seldom we look within. Most of the time we are looking outside to get happiness. Alas, if we had looked inside, we will find what I am. Na khidyate no vishayaih pramodate, na sajjate napi virajyate cha, swasmin sada क्रीडति नंदति स्वयं निरन्तरानन्दरसेन तृप्तः न खिद्यते नो विषयैः प्रमोदते न सज्जते नापि विरज्यते च स्वस्मिन् सदा क्रीडति नन्दति स्वयं निरन्तरानन्दरसेन तृप्तः. It says, my dear child, crossing this worldly ocean where you are scorched by the heat of many sufferings and situations. You are suffering because of adverse situations. You are suffering by your likes and dislikes. Crossing all that, crossing all fear, you can reach that fearless state where na khidyate no vishayaih pramodate. Neither you will be affected by anything, by any object. You will not be affected. By any happening, you will not be affected. Na khidyate no vishayaih pramodate. Neither you will be elated by anything which you like. Generally what we are, always, we don't have to even think. This is happening one after another. We get some situation which makes us happy. We face another situation which makes us unhappy. When we are in a happy situation, we never think that this is going to pass away, because the happiness has come from the interaction with something which is changeful. And any changeful thing will pass away. So we start feeling very happy, attaining or achieving whatever we liked, we feel happy, but that stage doesn't stay. Then comes what? A state of dukkha. Whatever we liked has gone, so we start feeling dukkha. Or maybe something greater dukkha has come. But if you know yourself, the Guru is telling the Shishya, my child, if you know yourself, you will be able to reach that state, your real identity, where neither you are affected nor you are elated. Na sajjate napi virajyate cha. Neither you are attached nor you feel a hatred towards that. All our sukha dukkha actually rises or arises or gets generated because of our likes and dislikes, raga and dvesha. Just now I said that whatever we like, if we do not get, we are unhappy. Whatever we like, if we get, we are terribly happy. And we are fearful also. Suppose we get something which we had wanted and aimed, we had desired, then after receiving, after attaining it, there is a fear. Suppose I lose it, what will happen? Suppose I lose it. It is said, a man and a woman, they get married. it's a very compatible match. They have a family, they settle down, they have a household, then they have children. Then they start thinking, I have to bring up the child. Suppose he doesn't study well, what shall I do? So there is a fear. Then suppose the child has studied well and has taken up a career, is well placed in his job, then you have to marry the child. Then the fear and feeling will be that, will I get a proper daughter-in-law or a son-in-law? Suppose that is also fulfilled. That is, every point you are getting whatever you are wanting. The child is good, the child has studied, child is liked by everybody, has got a very good job, has got a very good wife, and you wanted grandchildren are also born. Meanwhile, you have made house and everything, you are keeping some money also you have saved money for the children. But then still there is a fear. You have become old by that time. By the time you have got your grandchildren, and grandchildren also are doing very well. So nothing is lacking anywhere, so to say. But still, is the mind happy, peaceful, fulfilled? No. The mind still feels and is afraid of this thought. Oh, suppose my son, who himself has become a grandfather now, suppose he dies before I die. So, getting anything, maybe God has been very pleased with you and has given everything that you wanted, but still there is a last fear. So, na sajjate napi virajyate cha. So, always our attachments and our dislikes, they are troubling us. If you are attached, then the object of attachment, if I don't get, or the object of attachment can be your child also, is not listening to you, you are in great sorrow. Similarly, if you dislike something, and that you have to spend your life with people whom you don't like, or in a situation which you don't like, you are under suffering. But this state is such. Na khidyate no vishayaih pramodate, na sajjate napi virajyate cha, swasmin sada क्रीडति नंदति स्वयं निरंतरानंदरसेन तृप्तः. Why is it that you are in that state and you are not feeling sorrowful? Because you are in yourself. Swasmin. If you look into yourself, you will find Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam. Because if you know yourself, if you look within, if by your sadhana, if leading the spiritual path in the manner in which the Guru tells you, you are able to realize yourself, then Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam. You will be always sportful. You will be always rejoicing. Where? Inside yourself. And nirantaranandarasena triptaha. You will be always rejoicing, always sportful, because there is a spring of ananda, a fountain of ananda, which is ever flowing, spontaneously flowing. And that is why we will be nirantaranandarasena triptaha. Nirantar means ceaselessly. Anandarasena, the ananda that is flowing out of your own self, ceaselessly. You will be in that Amrita, that nectar and will be ceaselessly Ananda, enjoying Ananda, and you will be contented. This is what the Guru tells him. This is the state where you will be able to be. And being there, you will never feel any affectation, any affliction. He says, Kastam paranandarasanubhutim utsrijya shonyeshu rameta vidvan Chandre mahalhladini dipyamane Chitrendumalokayitum kaichet Kastam paranandarasanubhutim. You know, I am very happy today, fortunate, because I was not taking all the slokas of Vivek Chudamani. So you must have noticed that I was having to turn my pages and not getting the sloka that I want to talk about. And I was undergoing a lot of difficulty. Now today, some of them, they have understood my difficulty, and some people from outside, I think from Delhi and Nairobi, they have made a handout for me and given me a printout so that I can easily see the slokas that I want to talk on. So I'm very happy today. I'm also very happy, as you know, that I have got this opportunity to talk to you on Vivek Chudamani. Ever since I came across Vivek Chudamani, after Swamiji gave me those 30 verses and I started reading, then listening to Vivek Chudamani, this is a very, very favorite text. And I used to like reciting slokas. As Namrata just now told, the voice has gone, the voice sweetness has gone, the voice has become hoarse and cracky. So sometimes I'm not able to bring out sound also. It happens mostly in the mornings. I have difficulty. But that doesn't matter at all. What matters is the message of the slokas. Few slokas, if we know and if we remember. Suppose we don't remember also, we can listen. Somebody else singing, or you can hear from your CD. I remember when I was recovering in the hospital after my brain hemorrhage, and when I was recovering a little bit, lot of headache, no sleep at night, I used to chant this sloka to myself. Sarvadharam sarvavastu prakasham. You know, feeling the meaning, assimilating the meaning, and chanting it to myself, for nobody else to hear, just for myself. Sarvakaram sarvagam sarvashunyam nityam shuddham nischalam nirvikalpam brahmadvaitam yat tadevahamasmi brahmadvaitam yat tadevahamasmi. What is the mind doing then? Even in that pain and suffering, the mind is trying to remind oneself that you are the self. You are the self. There is no affliction in you. There is no affectation in you. You are Niramaya, no disease in you. You are Sarvavastu Prakasham. You are illumining everything. There is no darkness in your mind. Nityam, you are eternal. You are eternal. You are changeless. You are pure, Shuddham, Nishchalam, Nirvikalpam. How many times I have recited this, and even now, sometimes I do not get sleep at night. That happens sometimes. So some slokas I chant to myself. There are some songs also which I sing to myself. To whom? I think to that I, my real identity. And that identity resonates. It resonates. It forgets everything. It just gets revealed. Today, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad class, Nathan Swamiji was taking that portion, talking about that Dundubhi, that Shankha, and the Veena. And he was explaining that when we hear the sound, there is a lot of modification in the notes. And we hear it. But all the sound, it is over a substratum. How beautifully it is described. How beautifully it was explained. And I was having horripilation. Spontaneously, I think I said, beautiful. To think that such a knowledge is there, and we are fortunate to listen to that knowledge. I remember when I first heard one Upanishad, it was Taittiriya Upanishad, and I shed tears and tears and tears, hearing that. Why is it so that when we hear about the self, our mind goes somewhere to a lofty state? I think what happens is that all the words which is trying to describe that Atma just goes and resonates inside. And the revelation is there. Maybe for a moment, but it is there. And that is why it's a joy. It is joy. The tears are not of dukkha. The tears are of joy. This Swasmin Sada Kridati Nandati Swayam rejoices, sports by oneself. It doesn't need anybody to become joyful. It is only sporting in oneself. And that is why that Ananda Rasa is Nirantara, ceaseless. Ceaseless it is. Now, there are obstacles to realization. The self is self. The I is already there. We don't have to discover it. We don't have to understand it in the sense that it is there. But it does not get revealed to us because of many of our traits, because of many of our desires. So, the Guru is telling the Shishya, after having told him the state where he can go, even before, he is saying that you must make your mind pure. The mind has many tendencies. The sattva will bind you. It will want happiness. It will want knowledge. And the rajas, it will bind you with what? It will bind you with the traits like Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Asuya. What is Kama? Desire. Krodha is anger. Then greed, pride. Then Asuya, Ahankara. All those things. This, and your mind will become agitated by that. Lust, anger, arrogance, spite, egoism, jealousy, all these. So, when these are there, you can add anything. Attachment, possessiveness, all those things. What happens is that the mind becomes impure. Mind becomes disturbed. Mind becomes agitated by this. All these, I should say, traits which are not desirable. And because this agitation comes, the self which is there, the soul which is there, with all its effulgence, all its illumination, all its ever pureness, all its ananda, one is not able to feel it. Just like, say, if there is a vessel of water, clean water, and you look into it, you will be able to see your face clearly. Suppose we keep one object also, maybe a pebble, inside that vessel. Through that clear water, we can see that pebble. But suppose we give a little movement to the water, or we put a little mud into the water becomes either is full of ripples or it is muddy. In both cases, you will not be able to see your face when you look into it. You will not be able to see the pebble which you had kept, which you were able to see earlier, but now you are not able to see. Similarly, all these traits, they create a veil in front of the soul which is ever revealed. It is always there. But all our traits and the vasanas which are associated with these traits, the desires, all these desires, raga and dvesha, both, they do not allow the mind to remain still. It does not allow the mind to remain calm and peaceful. They create disturbances and agitations. So what you have to do? So the Guru says, you must remove the desires. You must remove desires. Tan manashodhanam karyam. So, mind has to be purified. How will you purify the mind? Again, viveka and vairagya. For purifying the mind also, viveka and vairagya is necessary. How will you know that your mind is impure? What is the impurity? How will you know? Whether the mind is suffering from pride, whether the mind is suffering from sangha, attachment, whether the mind is suffering from possessiveness, whether the mind is suffering from any other trait which disturbs. I didn't tell you about what this book is saying about the tamas qualities. Ajnanam, alasya, jadatva, nidra, pramada, moodhatvam, all these are tamoguna. That is ajnana, ignorance, dull-wittedness. Alasya, I think all of us have. Lethargy, alasya. You can very easily start doing some manana. Say you have listened. Either lecture or CD you have listened. And you have been taken to a great height. But do we do manana? Soon after we have listened. Maybe for a little while we may do sometimes. But leaving the alasya and leaving the sangha for something else which will bring about immediate pleasure. Say maybe reading a light book, or seeing something in the TV, or just telephoning somebody and talking. So this alasya and lethargy, it is a great, great hindrance. Alasya will not allow us to get up in the morning. If we get up early in the morning and read the texts, do manana on them, how the mind will be elevated. But we become lethargic. Then nidra, too much of sleep, pramada, this inattention. Pramada is a very great obstacle. We will see it. Mudhatvam, all these are tamoguna. So the Guru is saying that you have to purify yourself. First, we have to understand where we are having these defects. Am I having possessiveness? Do I have attachment? Am I lethargic? I may be lethargic to certain things, but I may not be lethargic for certain other things. A same person may not be lazy to do certain things, but may be lazy to do manana or meditation. But for some other work, that person is appreciated, praised. So first of all, we have to see where we are lacking. Where we are lacking. And that has to be done by viveka. Viveka. You have to do vichara for every action, every thought, every word. We must do vichara and see whether I have attachment, whether I have possessiveness, whether I am always feeling that whatever I say that is right, my views are the correct ones, whether I have jealousy, whether I have hatred, and where are these coming? We must admit through our everyday affairs in our thought, in our words, in our actions. If you are not able to do it, we may ask, see, this is what the very first day I said, that we need yearning. That yearning to be liberated, that should be a blazing yearning. That cannot be anything else. So, with that yearning, we should try to find out what are my shortcomings, which are those shackles which I am not able to understand myself. Maybe some I understand, but others I don't. So, what will it be? We should ask others. If my yearning to get liberated from the shackles of my mind and intelligence is so strong, and I want to progress on this path of understanding myself and realizing it, or discovering myself, which is already there, then I must ask others, can you tell me what are the traits I should improve upon? Sometimes in our classes, if I am taking a class, I ask especially the inmates and maybe long time residents here, that why don't you ask each other? Or why don't you say whether you have been able to find out? And sometimes the replies are very good, very truthful. But there are people also who sometimes will say, no, I think I am okay. My mind is very peaceful. Yes, it may be peaceful. But is it not that at other times, because of some other reason, it is also getting disturbed? So, the mind has to go into viveka, vichara, and find out where is the obstacle. And the greatest obstacle is vasana. Vivekachudamani describes the vasanas as 3. What are the vasana? Loka vasanaya jantoho shastra vasanaya picha deha vasanaya jnanam yatha vannaiva jayate. All the vasanas can be categorized into 3. What are these? Loka vasana. That is the desire to be known, to be praised, to be appreciated, to become famous, all that. That is, you have a position and prestige in the world, in the society. We feel that everybody should feel that I am a good person, I am quite knowledgeable, I help others. That is to project or make others feel, people around you in the society or even in your house, feel that you are somebody who is very noble, virtuous, and you have got these gunas, qualities. That is one. Even this vasana, the other day I was telling, we may not have very big vasanas, We may not have the vasana that I must be very rich, I must have 2-3 houses or 2-3 cars or fame or prestige. We may not have those kind of vasanas. We may be very, very, very satisfied with a few dresses and simple furniture in a simple house we are staying. But the very subtle desire is there. People should think that I am a good person. People should be considerate to me. People should be understanding. And their behavior to me should be like this. But it doesn't happen. Suddenly you feel that somebody has insulted you or has not appreciated your worth. So this loka vasana, it remains, it haunts the mind, it gnaws the mind, it does not allow the mind to be peaceful. Then deha vasana, taking care of the body and trying to make the body beautiful, trying to make the body, even if you are healthy, all the more healthy. Also, whatever is around you, associated you, like your children, you have a child, so you have sangha. So this deha vasana, the satisfying the body, not only that, satisfying the body and maybe good food, good clothing, good place to stay, all those connected with the body. Dehatma bhavana, that the body is sick, a little sickness, and you take to bed. Little sickness, you are fearful that you will die. Oh, I must have developed that disease. You have coughed a little. Oh, is it a very bad disease? All this is dehatma bhavana. And you become weak completely because of this vasana. Whereas your atma is strong, there is no weakness in it. Confident. But because of this dehatma bhavana, deha vasana, you feel weak at times. And another is shastra vasana. What is this shastra vasana? Studying. Studying and studying. Studying this scripture, that scripture. And not only studying, once we have gained the knowledge, then what do we want? We want to express it. We want others to know that I am very knowledgeable. So your mind will always look for such situations where you can explain things to others and you are not satisfied. Oh, even if we are listening to our Guru, our mind will not be able to listen with arjava, straightforwardness, or purity, or one-pointedness, Because having read many scriptures, you will find, no, such and such person, such and such Swamiji has described it or explained it in this manner. Or in such and such book, it is written. So, is it not a contradiction? Is it not a contradiction? Or, no, this explanation which I am hearing, I can explain it myself very, very well. Once somebody told our devotees in a satsang that, see, we are listening to Swamiji's Prabhat Rashmi, or maybe they were reading a book. I want to explain it. I will explain to you much better or in a much lucid manner than Swamiji. So that is, Shastra Vasana is coming. Instead of understanding what the speaker has said or here Guru has said, the mind is feeling that, no, this can be explained in a better manner, which I know. I can explain it better manner. I will write it down and give you. You please read it. You will be able to understand better. So this Shastra Vasana is one which binds a serious seeker even. A serious seeker also gets bound with Shastra Vasana. And that is why it is said that after you have known the truth, you have read Shastras and you have known what is self or Atma, leave everything but try to meditate upon that knowledge which you have come to know. Here in Viveka Chudamani, there is one shloka, Jnate vastunyapi balavati vasana nadiresha. Now, this I have lost. So actually, all these papers we should simply leave. If only all these shlokas used to be in the mind, like nowadays you just search in the Google and you get. Actually, earlier days, the brain was like that. You did not have to search in pages. I am also, for my facility, told they actually, seeing my condition yesterday, that I was hunting through my pages, then Namrata said that something could be done. So they have given me. Now see, here also so many pages that I am not able to find it. So 267. So earlier days, the saints, the rishis used to keep everything in the mind. And from there, it will be produced. While they will be handing over the knowledge in various ways. That is how the Upanishads are, the Vedas are. They are not written down. They have been telling the Shishyas, and they, when they became the Guru, they started telling their Shishyas. So now my condition is that I could remember shlokas very well. God had given me a good memory power. So the shlokas would be remaining in the brain. But I think now, because of my sickness and all, especially the brain sickness, I do not remember. I may remember 2 lines and then the 3rd line I will forget. So I also need a lot of help. Jnate vastunyapi balavati vasana nadiresha karta bhoktapyahamiti dridha yasya samsara hetuh pratyagdrishyatmani nivasata sapaneya prayatnad muktim prahustadiha munayo vasanatanavam yat pratyagdrishyatmani nivasata sapaneya prayatnad muktim prahustadiha munayo vasanatanavam yat. This jnate vastunnapi balavati. Don't think that it is the ultimate realization he's talking about. We have come to know that the self is like this. I am the self. My true identity is the self. But there is anadi vasana, endless, endless vasana is there in the being. And because of that endless vasana, samsara is what? Suffering, happiness, misery, raga and dvesha, by which we feel fearful, we feel afflicted. So this goes on and on and on. And because of this vasana, we feel, I am the karta, I am the bhokta. I, in my real identity, there is no doership. How will it do? It doesn't move. I is such. Right in the beginning, I told you what the Guru has said. That the I is unmoving, changeless, imperishable. So there is no motion. So there is no doing in the I at all. All that is being done or all that is happening is by the body, mind, intelligence and ego. But by our mistaken identity, since we are in ignorance, we are thinking that I am doing and I am enjoying. So, karta bhokta pyahamiti dridha. This feeling is so strong. Pratyak drishyatmani nivasata. So, he says that by realizing the self, trying to realize the self, constantly trying to be seated in that self-realization, constantly trying that, we must try to remove our vasana. We must try to remove the vasana. So, the last line says, Muktim prahus tadiha munayo vasana tanavam yatu. And mukti, what is mukti? Mukti is vasanakshaya. In Yoga Vasishta Ramayana, this vasanakshaya is dealt with all through. Vasanakshaya, manonasha and tattvajnana. So, we will be liberated if we are able to leave all our desire. So, desire has to be understood. Where we are desiring? What is a desire? Is it a desire or a need? Is it a possessiveness or attachment? Or it is really necessary? Like, we are all active. You are all active. And in activity, even in the ashram, we are all active. So, how will we act? How do we know whether the activities that we are doing, is it because of a desire which, if not fulfilled, will cause disturbance, or is it to be done? That is why it is a necessity. This is a need. A very small difference is there. Whether it is absolutely necessary, indispensable for the life to go on. That is why I am working. That is why I am talking. That is why I am thinking. All these actions, is it because of a desire which may not be necessary? And if we try to fulfill, and if it does not get fulfilled in both ways, whatever we want, if it does not happen so, will put us into lot of sorrow. Are we attached to that desire? The act that we are going to do by that, driven by that desire, is it going to put one in sorrow, in elation, disturbance, affliction? We have to understand that. So, Viveka is absolutely necessary. Vichara is necessary. Now, this Viveka also, unless you have Vairagya, you will not feel like doing Viveka. Because who will want to constantly think of this? There are so many things in which we can get pleasure? Who is going to think? Just like a student, it is like a student who has to study for the exam. So he has to study, write and study, solve some mathematics and practice, has to study. And his mind will be, oh, this is very tough. Throughout, before the exam, where I want to get result, a good result, I have to study so much, think so much, memorize so much, and practice problems, so many of them. Oh, when will I go and either go for playing, or maybe I want to read a storybook, or I want to see something in the TV. The student may think like that. That is, the mind is wanting to get away, where the mind has to very seriously do some work, put an effort, seriously. In that serious effort, there is a little difficulty. So the mind will always try to go to such things where you don't have to put effort much. Easily you can be happy. So I was thinking yesterday that by this saying that you must do this, you must do this, you must be inspired, you must have an aim. Am I making you feel very, feeling that, oh, this is not, will not be able to do? Or are you feeling inspired? One should feel inspired. Okay, don't be like this Shishya who is having a blazing yearning, but at least have 50%, at least have 60%, and put in that much effort to go forward. So vasana has to be understood, and that vasana, how it leads you to sangha, attachment, possessiveness, or other undesirable traits which disturbs you, you have to find out by the help of vairagya. Only when you know that nothing else is going to give me happiness which is permanent. By viveka, you try to understand. By vairagya, you actually increase your viveka. And viveka will help the vairagya. When vairagya is there and you understand that nothing else is going to give me happiness, so why not we try this? What the Shastras are saying, what the Guru is saying, why not I make an effort to find out what is my bondage and try to remove them. And those will be easily done if the mind is also restrained, mind is also shanta. It will be easily done if the indriyas, the sense organs are also restrained. Will be easily done when you have many good qualities. Virtues, grow virtues. That is why Swamiji is taking Ashtavakra Samhita. When Janaka asked, Katham jnanam avapnoti, katham muktir bhavishyati, vairagyam cha katham praptam, etad bruhi mama prabho. He asked, O sir, O Lord, I have come to you. Please tell me, what is this jnana? What is this vairagya? And how will I get jnana, vairagya and mukti? So he says, Muktimitchasi chet tata vishayan vishavatyaja. If you want liberation, you simply leave this objective world or the objects from which you feel you will get happiness. Vishavat. See, very good drink somebody has brought you. And the fragrance and the look of it, and you are very thirsty. You are trying to take it, drink it with lot of interest. At that time somebody says, this is poison. What will you do? Simply throw it. Vishavatyaja, it is saying. As soon as we come to know that the thing that I am going to eat or drink is a poison, we will throw it. So he is saying, Vishavat, like poison you throw it. Muktimichasi chet tata vishayan vishavatyaja. And what you should do? Develop, grow, cultivate. Kshama, Arjava, Daya, Tosha, Satyam. Piyushavad bhaja. What is the other thing which we will all want? Amrita. Drinking which we can become immortal. We don't have to do anything. If we get Amrita, like the Devatas got, we'll become Amrita. So, Amritavad, Piyushavad bhaja. You try to develop these qualities. What is that? Vishayan Vishavatyaja, Kshama, Arjava. Kshama is forbearance, Arjava straightforwardness, Daya is mercy and compassion, Satyam, Daya, Tosha, contentment and truthfulness. If these qualities you can develop, what will happen actually? How will it take you to mukti? He has told only these few, but there are others also. How will it take you to mukti? Because by developing this, the mind will become restful. The veil which disturbances create and does not allow us to experience our own self, does not allow us to be seated there, that veil will be removed. Why I said this sloka? Vivek Chudamani also has a similar sloka. Mokshasya kangsha yadi vai tavasti tyajati durad vishayan visham yatha. It is 82. Piyushavad tosha daya kshama java prashanti dantir bhajanitya 82nd verse. Mokshasya kangsha yadi vai tavasti tyajati durad vishayan visham yatha piyushavat toshadaya kshama prashanti dantir bhajanitya. So the Guru says that if you want mukti, he had said, no, katham vimokshaha, how will I get liberated? So if you want mukti, then like piyusha, like amrita, you develop or worship bhaja. There also is used bhaja, worship these qualities. What are these qualities? The same ones: contentment, karuna, that is compassion, forbearance, straightforwardness, and also prashanti and danti, that is shama and dama. These qualities you worship, that is bring about, develop, cultivate. So for us, for those who have started this path or maybe has progressed a little bit on the path, we have to remember that we have an aim. I tell you again and again, we must not forget that aim. The aim is my real identity. Sitting where? Having a stable seat where? We will be fearless, we will be unafflicted, we will go beyond all misery. So that is our aim, to go to that destination. But initially, we must make our mind pure by bringing about good values, good virtues, good behavior, good thoughts, so that the mind becomes restful and peaceful, and the self is revealed by itself, by no effort, effortlessly. Akashavallepaviduragoham adityavadbhasya vilakshanoham aharyavan नित्यविनिश्चलोऽहम् अम्भोधिवत् पारविवर्जितोऽहम् आकाशवल्लेपविदूरगोऽहम् आदित्यवद्भास्य विलक्षणोऽहम् आहार्यवन्नित्यविनिश्चलोऽहम् अम्भोधिवत् पारविवर्जितोऽहम्। जय गुरु, जय गुरु।